Okay, so lighting in your scene. There are two types of lights. There's glow. You'll find it all under the Arnold tab here on the shelf, and there's lights that you position in the scene, such as let's see, area lights like this one. Area lights basically function as windows that have light come through this square. So you can angle it, and you can go into your attribute editor and change the brightness and like the color and how much it spreads and how many shadows it casts and everything. They're better used for smaller scenes or indoor scenes, so I wouldn't really use it for an outdoor thing like this. Something you do usually want to start with is just a global sky dome light, which will take a second for it to appear. So this just makes a huge sphere around your scene that projects light down on everything. If I turn on the Arnold renderer thing, which you can access through here, it'll pull up this box. I just like to dock it over here. You can see it'll be really grainy at first, but you can see immediately how that will affect your scene. I have a normal map on my terrain, so it looks even more grainy than usual. By default, it'll just be completely white, but if you go into your attribute editor, you can change like whether it's visible or not. Like you can have it be completely black, or you can change the color to be red or something. You can even do a gradient of colors if you do a ramp. Like, say I want, ooh, that's not what I wanted. That's right, you have to click that box right there. I can make that part red, then click on that circle, make this part purple. I click this one to get out of this menu. Oh. And I can turn the view of it back on, and everything will look extremely weird. I'm not going to do that. It's really annoying. But you wanted to know how to make an object glow. So there are two ways to go about doing that. Get rid of this sky dome so it doesn't distract me. You can take the mesh of an object that you have in your scene, like say this cube is whatever you want to make glow. You select it and then choose the Create Mesh Light button from the Arnold menu. And this basically just like makes a light bulb. So you can't, it doesn't really do anything at first. So I have to turn up like the intensity and the exposure. If it wants to work. It doesn't seem to want to work for me. Oh, because I have to just turn up the intensity more. So by default, it'll just use that mesh as like the shape of a light bulb. If you want it to be visible, then you just click that button and it will be whatever color that you give it. By default, it's just white. If you don't want to do that and you just want to have part of your object glow, then you would want to do that under the texture that you assign to it. My favorite one is AI Standard Surface. I'm going to show you how to find that one. Under Arnold Shader, it's this one. It's the only icon that looks different in this huge column. I'm going to add it to my favorites so I can find it easier later. And under a lot of the different texture options, I think you could find it for blend as well. There's an option called emission. This is what will make it glow. It won't actually produce a light like the mesh light does, but it will make it visible regardless of the rest of the scene around it. Or actually, no, I lied. It does actually cast light on other things. Let me delete this object to make sure I'm not crazy and forgetting how it works. Yeah, it does actually cast light. Okay. Easier option would probably just be to make the texture itself emissive if you want to make an object that glows in your scene. And of course you can have a color map to it. Yeah. And the last type of light I'm going to cover real quick is the directional light. It is another type of global light similar to the sky dome that just casts a bunch of shadows in the same direction. It's not under the Arnold menu since it's technically just a regular Maya light. So when under the modeling tab on the create button here at the top, there'll be a tab for lights, and the second one here is directional light. Drag it up here into the scene. This one works pretty similarly to the area light, except for just imagine this entire part of the sky is illuminated and casting light down in this direction, whatever the arrows are pointing in. So just cast a shadow on everything in that direction, and I can like change the angle of it if I wanted it to be more up above. And of course you can change the intensity if you want it to be brighter. So a good mix of just having a sky dome light to provide like global ambient lighting and a directional light to get your shadows are for indication of a light source would be the best thing you want to do. If it's like a nighttime scene, then you can just like turn the intensity of the other two light sources, the directional and the sky dome, down pretty dim. If I want to have this one pretty dim. And it's just these two that are providing most of the brightness in the scene. Okay, I think that's all the most important types of lights. There's also point lights that are under the same menu as the directional light that just are exactly what they sound like. It's just a dot that can glow. Similar to like the mesh light, except for instead of being a shape, it's just a single point. If you want certain parts of your object to glow, but not all of it, you can assign, like, say I want to just make this part of this cube glow. I can select that face, and I'm going to hold down right click to bring up the context menu and hover over my materials menu. Since I've already saved AI standard surface to this list, I can just click that one. And I can change the emission of this one to be much brighter than the rest of the object. Kind of looks like a TV. Yeah, if you're not, let's see, is there anything I missed? Channel box, attribute editor. There are a lot of tabs here in your attribute editor for the different parts of a thing that you're selected, like the cube itself. If you want to change the mesh of it versus the texture. And oh, I think that's all. All right. I think that's all you need to really know for how to put lights in your scene, how to light it. All right.